Hey YouTube, Victor here with alltimegreats.blog. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, I want to thank you for tuning in and welcome. This channel and my website, alltimegreats.blog, deals specifically with collecting rookie cards of Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers in all four primary sports. Well, over the last several episodes, we've been dealing with the topic of the rookie card. We've looked at its past, looked at its current day status, all in an effort to preserve this cultural icon. Today I want to reflect the belief within the hobby that says the hobby decides what a rookie card is. Now, if you would just allow me to be honest with you for a moment, that statement doesn't sit right with me. I mean, I get it, I understand it, and I agree with it to a certain extent, but there's a portion of it that just rubs me like a blister on a hot summer day. So I started to give this statement some thought, and I asked myself, what is so wrong with the hobby deciding what a rookie card is? I mean, it's power to the people, right? It's the hobby telling the industry, we'll tell you, you don't tell us. In all practicality, this is a very empowering stance that we as collectors have. But still, something just isn't right. Now, I was watching the US presidential elections the other night, and in the channel that I was watching, the tagline was, America decides. And then it hit me. So if America decides what a president is, then the hobby decides what a rookie card is. That means there had to be some type of vote, right? Well, I didn't get that ballot. So all of this got me to thinking, and I'm going to propose the same question to you. When it comes to the rookie card, what exactly has the hobby decided? I mean, to my knowledge, for the past 40 years, which is an entire generation, a large portion of the hobby agrees, while another large portion of the hobby disagrees. And there's another portion of the hobby that just doesn't care all the way around. So again, I ask you, what has the hobby decided? Here's the irony. Here's what the hobby says about the rookie card. In one hand, we say the hobby decides what a rookie card is. And on the other hand, we say the hobby will never come to consensus on what a rookie card is. Now, I'm just going to pause here for just a moment, and I'm going to give us a moment of silence so that we can reflect on these two statements. And here are my thoughts. Wait, what? Are you kidding me? You see, there's this crazy cycle happening. The hobby decides, but there's a lot of disagreement. So instead of coming to a resolve or compromise, we simply state no consensus, which directly opposes the hobby decides. So the result is confusion. And the wheels on the rookie card bus go round and round.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the
This is why, for me, the 10 commandments of the rookie card are crucial. It gives us the rules needed to clearly define what a rookie card is. Now hear me out. Don't tune me out just yet. As a matter of fact, if you're finding value in what I'm saying so far, if I've piqued your curiosity, hit that like button for me. Now, when the National comes to town next July or August, I'm going to be taking I-80 westbound towards Rockford, Illinois. Now, I've been driving I-80 every day for decades, and the speed limit is 55 miles an hour. Now, I can tell you from multiple experiences, when the police officer pulls me over and he hands me back my license and he tells me to keep it under 75 miles an hour. Now, if the law says it's 55, why does the officer tell me to keep it under 75? Why do they allow for this? Because not everybody agrees with going 55 miles an hour down I-80. The police officers probably don't even agree with going 55. And not everybody agrees with going faster than 75 miles an hour. So what do? They allow this boundary so that everyone can function in it. And that's what the MLBPA has done for the card industry. And I'll get back to that in a moment. But can you imagine if the expressway nearest you, if everybody just decides how fast they go, you decide what the speed limit is. Can you imagine? It won't take long and there'll be chaos. But the law brings regulation and freedom within the boundaries. In 2005, the MLBPA gave the industry boundaries on the use of the rookie card. But of course, not everybody agreed, and chaos quickly ensued. Manufacturers didn't agree, so instead of looking to comply, they opted for shortcuts and shenanigans. But the one question that I asked myself was, why don't we agree? Well, allow me to be a nerd for just a moment, because when it comes to the topic of the rookie card, it can become very passionate. I've been in enough of these conversations to know that the rookie card discussion is right up there with religion and politics. The hobby of sports card collecting is predominantly male. And when you have men who are passionate about a topic and they have opposing views, our human nature is triggered. Nothing wrong with that, because our opinions, beliefs, and views are one of the greatest assets that we have as humans, because it shapes our thoughts and our decision making. But sometimes we get blinded by this thing called the male ego. Books have been written about it. So when we look at the overall picture of the rookie card in a predominantly male culture, I think the reasons we may disagree is because of certain characteristics found in our character. Now here's where I get nerdy on you. I want to give you 4 definitions that I found that pertain to what I'm talking about here. The definitions come from a simple app called dictionary.com, but it really pertains to what we're talking about here. And I want us to view these personality and character types through the eyes of a rookie card collector. The first one is a traditionalist. A traditionalist is a person who supports the established customs of his or her society or group and does not want to change them. Well, a traditionalist, it reminds me of an old movie back in the early 70s called Fiddler on the Roof. It's a great musical. I highly recommend that movie. But anyways, let's go on to the second characteristic. The second one is a purist. A purist is a person who wants something to be totally correct or unchanged, especially something that they know a lot about. Now, many of us view these two character types as being nitpicky or old-fashioned or even stubborn. But let's look at now the opposite of the traditionalist and the purist. And the third character type is a liberal. Now, this isn't a political definition. There's many definitions for the word liberal, and this is the one that fits what we're talking about here. A liberal is someone who has liberal views and believes people should have a lot of freedom in deciding how to behave and think. Now, mind you, I want you to funnel these definitions through a character of a rookie card collector. I'm going to reread the liberal. A liberal is someone who has liberal views and believes that people should have a lot of freedom in deciding how to behave and think. And lastly, the progressive. A progressive is a person who favors and advocates progress, change, improvement, or reform, as opposed to things just remaining the way they are. So the reason why I have such heartburn with the statement, the hobby decides what a rookie card is, it's because it's subject to every person's psyche and way of thinking on the topic. It invokes ego, opinion, and the overall psychological structure of a person. And there's just too many variations of personalities out there. That's how come we will never come to consensus. I can totally agree with that statement. This is why the rookie card needs structure, discipline, and boundaries. In other words, the rookie card needs to be structured by rules. But our human nature at times resists rules because we think that they bind us. But when done properly, they provide structure, stability, and prosperity. Maybe I shouldn't even call them rules, because I know that that word kind of rubs people the wrong way. Maybe it's best if we just call them boundaries of the rookie card, or maybe even rookie card code. I don't know. I work for a railroad, and there's 2 different types of railroads. There are commuter trains, which deals with transporting people from one location to the other, and then there's freight trains, which deals with the movement of goods and supplies. Sometimes those goods can be toxic. So because of that, all railroads must operate within the U.S. Department of Transportation Code of Federal Regulations, Title 49. Now, at one point in my career, I functioned as a trainer, so I was responsible for making sure that my department made the proper changes in order to comply with the regulations. Well, I had to teach these new procedures to groups of men 20 to 30 in size. And as I was teaching, I was able to see some guys get real fidgety and real uneasy about it. Why? Because as men, we're resistant to change. We're resistant to rules. And then the question started. How's this going to work? You people are crazy. What if this happens? What if that happens? But what if? But what if? But what if? This was my favorite part of the training session. I always validated their concerns because ultimately it was going to affect them the most. But I would take that scenario that they painted and I filtered it through what the regulations say. So when a question came up, okay, let's look at what the regulation says about it. In a short time, the new way became familiar, and the feedback mostly came back positive. The MLBPA made those changes in 2005. But card manufacturers over the years have made a lot of improvement on complying with the rules. It's been the collectors that have been slow to change. So the statement, the hobby decides what a rookie card is a profoundly beautiful statement, but it's unrealistic in its application. The hobby decides what a rookie card is, yes, prior to 2005. But after 2005, those expectations have already been decided for us. I guess you can say I'm a progressive. If we want all the cards to be considered rookie cards, I'm all for it. But let's get it in writing. That way, opinions can be overruled. Here's the concept that we need to wrap our heads around. Here's the standard. You comply to it. It does not comply to you. It would benefit us tremendously. Even when the card manufacturers make an error, we have something to stand on, something that would give us clarity, instead of when the manufacturers make an error in production, it just adds more fire, more gas to the confusion fire. This is going to take leadership. It's going to take the MLB and the MLBPA to step in once again to make things official. I do not have the authority. The hobby does not have the authority. Hobby publications and card manufacturers do not have the authority. Again, I'm going to say, and I mean this with the utmost love and respect, but the current rules have already been written. It's just up to us to follow the rules, not the rules follow us. You see, that has been the problem. It's up to everybody's interpretation. It's up to whatever everybody just wants to put their own definition and spin into it. And that's how come there's so much confusion. Why is this so important? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. We're living in a day of set registries. We're living in a day of sports card investments via the flipper or even fractional investments nowadays. It's getting serious. Sports cards is a serious industry now. We're living in an era where baseball card collections are being inserted into wills because of the value that's behind them. There's going to come a day that we're going to pass away, and our collections are going to be left to the person of our choosing. How happy or how disappointed are they going to be? I can picture a spouse going to the nearest auction house with a collection, and the auction house telling them, sorry to say, this collection doesn't have much value. My friends, the rookie card is the backbone of our beloved hobby, and we have a responsibility to preserve it. Not muddy the waters with everybody's opinion, but it needs to stand upon a firm foundation. We need to all be on the same page of this thing. So here's what I'd like to know. First, if you found value in this content, hit that like button. But secondly, and most importantly, I've created a survey. I've inserted it into the description down below. Will you take a minute to fill it out? I know some of us may be hesitant to leave a comment about such a touchy subject. So I've created this survey that's going to give me some feedback. It's an opportunity for you to share your thoughts and opinions with me in a more private setting. It's confidential. It's only going to take a couple of minutes, and the survey is going to come to me directly via email. I am not collecting emails, trying to sell emails or making email lists, none of that nonsense. What I'm saying is it's going to come to me and me only, and it's going to be a huge help. With all that said, I bid you a farewell. Stay positive and test negative. I'll catch you on the next one.